Now I'm going to discuss day 8 and day 9 of my video log detailing how I'm trying to become the first obese marathon runner to qualify for the Boston Marathon. So on Monday the 8th, for lifting, I just did legs and shoulders. Okay, so for legs, I started off with hack squat, and I did feel a pretty strong burning sensation in my shins on the upper part, kind of right below my knee. So I don't know what's causing that, but it's something I have to keep an eye on. It's not supposed to burn when I do hack squats. I will note that that pain does not hurt when I'm running, which is good. The impact, I wouldn't say impact, but the weight from hack squats is obviously significantly more than running. However, before, I didn't have pain from hack squats, but I had pain from running. So I will still say this is better than the alternative, which is pain when running. However, it is important to note that there is a burning sensation in my shins from doing hack squats. So my shins are not necessarily happy about the weight when I'm doing it anyways. Again, that's just something to keep an eye on. I'm not going up in weight, I'm keeping the weight lighter than usual. Still 7 plates on each side, but before I put 25 on 2, just to let my body kind of figure out what's going on. But it's not super noteworthy. It doesn't hurt to walk, run, walk upstairs, jump, or anything else. It's mostly, actually, it hurts a lot less than before. There have been times in the past when, it would hurt a little bit because I'm running a lot, but not anymore. So the pain from the hack squats is something to keep an eye on, but it feels more like an irritation than an actual issue. But I also want to make sure I don't cause any stress fractures from that. But I also think stress fracture would be more likely from running, not from the actual hack squats. I did also continue doing the squatting because I think it's important to do some powerlifting lifts to track the progress of my strength. And I did put, it was in the Smith machine, but I did put 3 45s on each side and then 2 10s. So not entirely sure how much that's, maybe 335 or something. It would be 355, but then the bar's lighter on the Smith machine. And I do know that some people will say that Smith machine's easier, but when I bench, it's not easier. You just have to account for the difference in the weight of the bar. So I know that's not a lot of weight either. It's literally less than my bench, or about the same as my bench. But I'm just starting out with squatting, so instead of trying to push it up too fast and risking injury, I'm just trying to ease it up slowly. So I should see much faster progress in my squat from this weight than my bench from this weight, because the bench is it's good form and I have a lot of experience doing it, whereas squatting I don't. So I do expect that number to rise up a lot in the future. I will also say that I did shoulders after that with some shoulder presses, and I didn't even use the bar for it. I just used the machine to make sure that my shoulders are fine. And then I did some lateral raises. Now, of course, I've said before that I had shoulder issues in the past couple months from an apparent injury. Not anything super noteworthy. Nothing was seriously injured. It seems like maybe a tendon was being pinched. So the good news is that pain's not really there. It's difficult to get my arms behind my head now, like for squatting or shoulder pressing, but at the end of the day, my shoulder mostly feels healed and ready to pick stuff up. Doesn't hurt almost all the time. Lateral raises, I'm still going lightweight, but I can still do it without pain, so it does seem like my shoulder is healing fine. And I do think that when I can continue doing shoulder presses again, heavy shoulder presses anyway, that's going to help my bench in the future. And then when I ran for that workout, it was a Monday, so that was my slower constant pace day, where I did maintain 6.5 miles an hour. Only did 25 minutes for the first run of it in the very beginning. I felt I could go a lot longer, but again, I'm just trying to do slow progress, right? You force an extra % of effort every day instead of just trying to do 20% in one day, because that might just tank the day after that. You know what I mean? Maybe you have a really good day, then the next time you do that run, you're tired, and now you feel bad about yourself. So I'm just trying to force really small gains over time. Even though the pace is very slow compared to what I was doing before, it is still moving in the right direction in terms of where I landed after I gained the 30 pounds. And then today is Tuesday the 9th, which was arm day, and just like last time, you know, I used 70 pound dumbbells to curl. My arms felt pretty strong compared to how it was maybe a week ago. I don't know if it felt stronger than my last workout, but it felt about the same, which was significantly stronger than the previous workout before that. There's not really much to report on arm day. Doesn't matter how strong my arms are, and I also can't prove what kind of form I'm using when I do it, other than saying that my arms feel stronger. But that's also not even an important metric that's being tracked for this challenge, so it's not super important to even track it, other than noting observations. When I did run, I did again. This is Tuesday, which means I alternate between 8.5 miles an hour and 6 miles an hour. And of course, those interval speeds can change over time, but that's what it's been for the past couple weeks that I've finally been running again. And I did do the 8.5 mile per hour interval for 2 minutes and 15 seconds before recovering at the 6 miles an hour for 3 minutes. There were a couple times where I felt tired and I went a little bit slower than that, but I was able to handle the 2 minute 15 second intervals very easily. And again, I know it's not long, it's just, but my breathing feels easy, my heart feels fine. It's just trying to get my body used to running that endurance again at that speed, which is why it becomes so easy to just to make that time interval even longer than before. So now, of course, I did note that before I was going up 10 seconds at a time from one workout to the next, and this time I did 15 seconds, because once you get past 2 minutes, you're pretty much jogging, so it's easier to extend it further. So next time will be 2.5 minutes, then 2 minutes and 45 seconds, and 3 minutes. Maybe once I get to 3 minutes, maybe I'll do half an hour chunks, and maybe I'll just make the slower speed faster to catch up to 8.5. I don't know which one I'll do yet, but I will note that once you start pushing times, like I said, every time you just go a little bit more, so extra 15 seconds, and then eventually 30 seconds, and 1 minute at a time. Before you know it, you're just running 8.5 miles an hour for the whole 3 hours to run the marathon. And so the progress I've been seeing there is very good. It's about what I expect. And I used to be able to handle that speed for much longer, so it felt like a casual jog. So I don't expect it to take too long before I get there again. So overall, I will say that run went very well, but about as expected. And, you know, the good thing is that it's feeling very easy for me, so it's not like I'm really not trying that hard to do that. So to make the improvements that I'm trying to make, you know, before last year, when I did make really rapid progression by following the same method, I was gasping for breath because I was trying to go from 40 seconds to a minute, and you really burn and crash. And then in this case, I'm not. I'm just doing a casual jog at the 8.5 miles an hour. So the fact that I'm feeling so comfortable at this speed just shows that it's not that hard, and I think I'll be able to increase the amount of time I can hold it for a lot longer very easily. And also running, say, 6 miles doesn't feel too bad now, or 10 miles doesn't do a lot of damage to my body. So I think I'll be able to spread that out pretty quickly. Hopefully before the year's over, I would like to qualify for the Boston Marathon at some point, but if that doesn't happen till the year after, it's fine. I could also try to qualify for other marathons besides Boston if I have to. I would just like Boston because I live in Massachusetts. After that, I did do some, I have to make a note of that. I went back to the fast intervals after an hour of those runs, the intervals go from 8.5 to 6. Right after that, I have the faster intervals. And on Tuesday, that's the hard day, where I use 13 and 10.5 miles an hour for the fast intervals. And then I'll just go slower when I can't go any longer. So, just to give you an example, I might start off by running 6 miles an hour for 2 minutes, just as a warm-up, and I'll speed up 13 miles an hour for as long as I can. And then when I can't do that anymore, I'll slow down to say 8.5 to try to catch my breath a little bit. If I can't maintain that, I can go down slower. But the idea is to have the slower speed be as fast as possible, and to maintain it. So hopefully when I can maintain 8.5 miles an hour, I can just alternate between 13 and 8.5. But I'm obviously not there yet because I used 8.5 for the first hour of the run. I guess kind of bad news with that. It did feel like I was jogging. I wasn't running too hard, but going at 13 miles an hour, I got to 30 seconds and it felt pretty tough. And I haven't really been doing those runs for a little while, which is fine. My body's been adapting, so it's not too bad that I went to 30 seconds, but that's obviously not very long either. But you start somewhere. So next time I'm going to try to do 40 seconds and 50 seconds in a minute, then say minute 10, minute 20, exactly like I did for the other speeds. And that one's going to be very painful. Going increasing the time distance for 8.5 miles an hour is not difficult at all, because it's a slow jogging pace, whereas 13 isn't. My cells can't get the oxygen that they need, so it physically hurts. I feel physical pain in my body, so that's going to be harder to maintain. But again, the whole point of this is just progressive overloading, one day at a time, keep getting a little bit faster, and then eventually I'll hit my goal. I don't ever have to do 13 miles an hour. That's technically the world record, so I only do it to increase my VO2 max and see how long I can maintain it for. So that's all I'll really say about this workout today. And yesterday, just covered both June 8th and June 9th, which is day 8 and day 9 of the plan to become the heaviest marathon runner. And with that, I'm going to end the video.